Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. Tonight I have a blind tasting, some idea that I just kind of came up with that I thought it'd be fun to review some of the craft whiskeys that I have. And I'm kind of loosely defining craft whiskeys. In general, these are just whiskeys that aren't as prevalent throughout the country. So, before I get started, I do want to just say hi to a few people, including Whiskey Central. Her and I are becoming very quick friends. This week found me actually editing one of her videos to give her a little bit of advice. And part of that editing, it was a Johnny Walker Red video, so I had to... She said it wasn't so bad, which... that doesn't fly with me. So I put a mustache on her for a good portion of the video. But, that was fine. So anyway, that Whiskey Central's great. A bunch of other people in the chat. Let me just kind of... Ron's wood turning shop, which Ron, the pen that you made for me is still sitting at my office. I still have yet to go into the office after the last few months, which kills me because I would love to just have it like either up here or, somewhere more prevalent. Anyway, so ADHD whiskey... You guys probably saw the stream last week. That was just an amazing stream. ADHD, as always, you're awesome for doing that. Most of you were in there, so I don't need to reevaluate too much, but I do know that we raised almost $4,000. So, I mean, just amazing stuff. And thank you again, ADHD, for having me on the stream. It was really fun. All right. So what do I have here today? I have, a bourbon from Wiggly Bridge, which is a place in York, Maine. And I generally like this. I brought a bottle of this to the La Quinta last year, to the Bastard's Ball. And I brought an extra bottle for Daniel and Rex as well. So there's that. I've got Courage and Conviction, which is out of Virginia. And this is an American whiskey. It's not a bourbon. And I think it's the only one here that's not a bourbon. But it just kind of made a little bit of sense thinking about the flavor profile of it to include it with this grouping. I've also got Tawakero. Now this is the 4-grain bourbon, as well. And I ended up making 6 pen sets out of the staves you sent me. That's awesome, Ron. I'm glad to hear it. Emily Chambers, I bet you could make a snack quite fast. All right, so I've got the Tawakero there, and that's out of Texas, as well as the... I would say almost defending champion, although this hasn't happened before, but I think we all just love Iron Root. So I threw it in here as well. Now this is the Harbinger Xc. Now what I aimed for were different whiskeys that were all about the same ABV. I didn't want to throw something in here that was like 110, only because I feel like it would stick out too much. So let me give you guys some quick little metrics about this. So the Wiggly Bridge is 43%. It is a small barrel bourbon whiskey. The Tawakero, as I mentioned, 4-grain bourbon. It is, this is still from batch 4, so it's quite a while ago. This is 48%. The Courage and Conviction, if I remember correctly, is a little bit higher, although I wouldn't trust my memory pretty much on anything. Let's see, where'd you go? I saw it right before the stream started, and they've just got so much writing on here. All right, screw it. I'm opening it up. Let's see. It's got to be on the bottle, right? 46% ABV. And one thing that's interesting about this bottle, you guys, you could totally see it if I get the angle right. There's like a square in the bottle, in the bottom. So putting it back in this container is actually kind of difficult. You got to get the angle right. And I'm not going to do that on stream because I tried it right before the stream started and it was difficult. And lastly, we're going to talk about the Harbinger Xc, and this is 90 proof or 45%. So there's only a couple percent difference between all of these. So I thought it was a reasonable comparison to make. So let's see. We got Brian Griffiths in here. Doug Scott loves Johnny Walker Red. Sorry, Doug, you're not allowed anymore. All right, so let's see. Professor Dumbledore of the Whiskey World. All right, so real quick before I get started, just wanted to mention a couple of people. So we've had some new patrons join the channel this last week. So Jason Coates, towards the beginning of June, he joined up. Ben Sawyer. Oh my God, I totally didn't change Steve's name again. He's going to murder me. Oh, Steve. Oh my God. Ignore Steve. This A does not exist. All right, so Thomas and Daniel both joined, and Caleb upped his pledge. So I can't even, you know what, Steve? I realized I said this last time too. As I was editing the video, I said, I need to make sure to take the A off of Steve's name. And I said this exact same thing last week or 2 weeks ago, and I just didn't do it. I am the worst. I'm the worst. All right, let's go ahead and get into some whiskey. Did you guys all have a good Friday? Because I had an awesome Friday. I said I was going to get in the whiskey, but I kind of would rather chat. I took the day off today, and that was just fantastic. I spent, time kind of... I know, I still haven't fixed it, Steve. I'm so sorry. I'm a piece of crap. Anyway, I took the day off today. It was awesome. My wife let me sleep until after 10 o'clock in the morning, which I had no expectation of her doing. She just didn't wake me up, and I just kept on sleeping. Now, I was up a little late last night, probably like 1:30 or so. I was hanging out with some friends. We were doing the Zoom call. I've mentioned before on the stream how I do a thing on Thursday nights. So I always have a couple late nights. But anyway, so I was doing that and then up pretty late, but I still slept for like 9 hours. So no complaints, and I've been feeling wonderful all day. So I guess all I need is a little bit more sleep. Unfortunately, this channel doesn't really allow for that too much. All right. Let's pick our first whiskey. Now, the way that I did this is basically I wrote down some letters on little stickers because I learned my lesson last time. Sharpies can work on the bottom of a Glencairn, but they're not super easy to get off. You really have to scrub it, and even the dishwasher's not going to take it off. So use the bristly side of the sponge. It will eventually come off, but you got to work at it. So I don't want to do Sharpies on the bottom of my Glencairns anymore. So instead I use these little guys. You see them at yard sales or whatever, and I just wrote letters on the bottom, and I wrote down what those are over here on my notepad, but I can't see. Right? Obviously you can't see from the bottom of the glass. And I do have my little glass toppers on all of these, so I'm trying to contain the smell, and I figure that will help. So let's go ahead and start with number 1. Sorry. Dude, DH Sylph, I do blame the channel, man. I spend almost as much time on this channel as I do in my real job. All right. So this one smells almost a little... I'm almost a little worried that maybe I didn't wash my glass as well as I should have, but I did. Like I always do. So I'm going to discount that for a moment. So this one it's got almost like a soapy smell to it. Like that makes me worried. I worry that either this is one of a couple things. Either this is the Wiggly Bridge, which I remember is having kind of a like a lesser impressive nose. It didn't knock my socks off. The taste was pretty good, but I really hope that's not just soap. I don't think it is. All right, let's go ahead and take a taste. Cheers. All right, so that tastes pretty good. It's got a little bit of a... It's a little complicated. It doesn't taste super bourbony. Which makes me think it might be the Courage and Conviction, but I'm trying not to guess. I did this the last time, and that wasn't my intent. My intent is not to guess what these are. My intent is to figure out which ones I like the most. So, on the taste there, it does have some complexity to it. It tastes a little bit newer than I think, but it just more tastes like new barrels, not super charred. So let's see. Iron Root has a bit of a soap elements in my opinion. Yeah, maybe DH Self. It could be that as well. I really am not sure, but I'm gonna try not to think about it. But I'm not loving the nose on this as much. It is a little sweet. Now keep in mind, this is my first real drink, at least in a couple hours. I filmed a few episodes today. They are from a new series I'm doing on the channel. I'm calling it Lazy Libations. And the idea is cocktails, but because there's a million cocktail channels on YouTube, I'm not going to compete with those cocktail channels. The idea is whiskey cocktails that are easy to make, because sometimes you end up with a bad whiskey, or sometimes you end up with a great whiskey. And either way, it could be made better by a good cocktail. So that's the idea. So I filmed an episode on Manhattan and Old Fashioned today, and that was pretty fun. But I drank the Old Fashioned probably around 2-ish, and then I had the Manhattan a couple hours later. I'd actually thrown it in the refrigerator at the time. So, I've had a couple of drinks today, but nothing crazy. Certainly not even remotely feeling any of that. I'm just not my first drink of the day. All right, Whiskey Dick. What's the difference between moonshine and unaged whiskey? Pretty much just... Honestly, I think it's probably more just terminology. Moonshine tends to be... You're looking at marketing, right? So if you're talking true moonshine, you're talking about something illegal, made in a still, probably out in the woods, and probably not super pure. If you're talking about just unaged whiskey, I mean, that could be something that anybody makes. I mean, that's just whiskey that has not yet aged. So it depends on what you're seeing. If you're looking at who asked that, Revealing Hawk. So if you're looking at a bottle on a shelf, it's just marketing. If you're somewhere that's weird, maybe a little hicky, and you just see somebody selling you some moonshine, then that might be something that you might want to avoid for several reasons. Let's see. I think it is in the proof. No, it really is just legal versus illegal. There are some differing aspects. So like White Dog versus White Lightning. Now, White Lightning, I believe, has to be over 100 proof, but don't quote me on that. It might be over like 120 proof or 110 proof. There's a proof that makes White Lightning versus White Dog. And then obviously just you have unaged whiskey, which is the same as White Dog. White Dog is kind of like a generic term for unaged whiskey. But all right, let's move on to number 2 here. Which, by the way, I have these back in the store again. Just got them in a couple days ago, and they've already started selling. So if you guys are interested in any of the glass toppers, feel free. If you buy a few of them, I'll give you a deal. Just send me an email rather than purchasing them through the store. Ooh. All right, so I like the nose on this guy. This tastes a little herbally. My mom's a doctor in Arkansas, and once a patient paid her in moonshine, she cooked with it. It tasted weird. I think that is a great story, Chromosome Gun. Short, to the point, and tells a wonderful story. I like it. All right, so yeah, a little herbaceous. I don't know. There's not a lot. This is interesting. I'm noticing a trend here. There's not super complicated noses on any of these so far, and I'm 2 out of 4. It is unique, though. I'm going to say maybe like a little tobacco. Let's go ahead and have a taste. Cheers. Okay. Now, I like the taste of this one a little bit more. It's a little punchy. It's not as smooth, so a little rough. It's got higher ABV for sure. Or it tastes like it has higher ABV. I have no idea. What I'm thinking about this one, though, is... First off, I want to take a couple more sips because this one has to kind of settle on my palate a little bit. But I'm just kind of comparing it to the one that I had before. What are you guys all drinking tonight, by the way? I always like to ask that. It's fun to watch. You guys sometimes have some really weird stuff going on in the chats. I like this one, I think. There's a flavor going on here, and a lot of it does taste very herbaceous. I think whatever this ends up being, this might be kind of my benchmark when I say that something tastes like herbs. It's got a little cloveness, geez. It's got some clove to it. It reminds me a little bit of like baking a rye bread, but it's not rye. Maybe like pumpernickel or some sort of really like grainy bread. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I'm going to go back to that one in a few minutes here. All right, let's go ahead and have the next one. Zedman's drinking coffee. Is it early where you are, Zedman, or are you just a nighttime coffee drinker? Sandeman Madeira. Okay. Balcones Texas Single Malt. I'm going to use that as a segue. Next weekend, or next Friday, don't forget that I have an interview with the master distiller of Balcones, and I'm going to be drinking. They sent me 3 bottles this week. They sent me the single malt, the rye, and the true blue. And I think we'll probably be drinking all 3 of those during the stream, talking about them. And in general, it should be really fun. Should be easy enough to find that live stream. If you have any sort of questions that you might want to ask the master distiller, there's a form in the description of that live stream. Will only take you 2 seconds to go find it. Just ask your questions in there, and I'll make sure to ask the master distiller. Deanston Dragon's Milk Cask. Can you do me a favor, John, or anybody else who happens to know? So I've seen Dragon's Milk as like a beer before. I don't know anything about it. I think it might be a plant, but I don't know anything about it. If anybody does, I would love to learn. If not, I'm going to make it a note to actually look that up after after the stream, after I fix Steve A's name on the Patreon screen. Whiskey Central's drinking Bushmills Blackbush. Is that going to be your episode this week, Whiskey? Is there a correct technique for nosing? Yes, Harley fan. And actually, I go over it pretty extensively. There's a playlist on the homepage of my channel called Get to Know Your Whiskey. There's a few videos in there that will kind of talk about at least what works for me as far as being able to really kind of get the most out of nosing your whiskey. All right, Balcones Single Malt, Woodford Reserve Manhattans, Chromosome Gun, nice. Barrel Irish Whiskey. Wait, Barrel Irish Whiskey? Really? I didn't know that they made an Irish whiskey. Private Reserve, interesting. Lefroy Select. Yeah, Lefroy Select is a good deal, Peter, for sure. Wild Turkey, 17-year bottle and bond. Let's see. Got the wife cocktail. Wait, what is that? Hold on. That looked funny. Got the wife cocktail glasses for... Oh, okay, never mind. Chromosome. Yeah, all right. So anyway, lots of stuff coming out. Awesome, Whiskey. You're editing that tonight. Hopefully you use some of the advice I gave you. Cranking them out, though, huh? It's a bourbon barrel-aged stout. Okay. Oh, yes, you're right. It totally is. I've had that, actually. I've totally had those before. I knew I had them before. I like bourbon barrel-aged beers, just in general. There's one, it's called Kentucky Barrel, maybe? Something like that. I get it a lot, actually. And I should know what the name is. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay, now the nose on this one I like a bit. The nose on this one is my favorite of the three so far. It's sweet, it's bourbony, it has vanilla, almost like a berry nose to it. So far, this one's a clear winner on nose, and actually looking at the legs here. As I mentioned, they're all pretty similar ABV, so one shouldn't really be sticking out over the others for as far as legs or the alcohol dripping down the side here. But I don't know, this one's got good ones. So cheers. That's nice and smooth. That's actually very good. I like that a lot. This one is the favorite of the three for sure so far. I'm trying to think of how I would describe this one. This one's got this. Do you guys ever taste things and think of colors? And I'm not talking about tasting like grape flavored something and thinking it tastes purple, because that's totally excusable. I don't know. It's weird. I tasted this and I just thought of the color yellow, and that happens occasionally. I know that's like a thing for some people. That's not what I'm claiming. Some people can smell color or see, taste or whatever. Like they got that cross. It's not what I don't have any of that. It's more just it reminds me of the color yellow. I don't know. Yeah, I like this one a lot. It's got a sweetness, and the smoothness of this is wonderful. So far, that's my favorite so far. All right, let's go ahead. Seal that guy back up. I think I'm plowing through these guys. Yeah, it's 9:20 already. That's all right. Maybe we don't go the whole time. Maybe we do. I usually can chat. All right. So this one looks a little darker than the rest. So maybe it's been aging a little bit longer. I actually don't remember a whole heck of a lot about these guys. The only one I know is Iron Root because it says 24 months on it. So, synesthesia, yeah. Ooh, that smells good too. Let me grab a little water first. So I got an email today from the Craft Whiskey Boys. And if any of you know them, I believe they're out of Ireland, and they've got a really nice channel. Like, honestly, like very, very good videos. Their production value is over the top, and they seem like kind of fun guys to hang out with. And they're coming to the United States, and they sent me an email earlier today telling me that they'd like to do some sort of collaboration, which I was actually very excited because I've been following them for a little while, and they do weird stuff. So like yesterday, they did a video on, or at least the one I watched yesterday, was aging Wagyu beef in Japanese whiskey. Not aging, marinating. and they did essentially, what was it? It was like soy sauce and, was it soy sauce? Yes, it was soy sauce. Soy sauce, and it was Hakashu, maybe? I think Hakashu whiskey, and a couple of other ingredients, and that's what they marinated it in. Now, obviously, you don't need to do much to a Wagyu piece of beef, and this was like a nice thick ribeye. I want it like literally this thick. It was huge, and they cooked it up, and oh my god! Like, not only did they cook it in this, pretty decent Japanese whiskey, but like, it just looked really good. They cooked it amazingly, and I just was so jealous I didn't get to do that. So, didn't get to have a piece of that. But I don't know what they have in mind, but I know that we might talk Irish whiskey, so we'll see. I mean, I'm a big fan of Irish whiskey, so we'll see. I don't work tomorrow, Richie. Actually, I took today off. I have the weekend, obviously, Saturday, Sunday, and I also took Monday off. Now, I did see, right before I came down here, of course, because this happens every single time I take a vacation, and I'm not even exaggerating, it's like clockwork, there's an incident, there's something wrong. And thankfully I have a couple of people who can take care of it on my behalf, but man, like mentally I can't get a break from work, and that's really tough. I'm sure you guys are all kind of dealing with it too, especially working out of your homes. You just never away from work, and there's a part of me that liked going to the office. There's a part of me that likes being home all the time, too. I definitely sleep more. Actually, Steve A. and I were talking about this earlier today. Like, you sleep more, you have more, like, freedom, kind of. Like, you just walk up from work and, or if you're in the basement like I am, right? So, I just go upstairs and I'm home from work. And I don't have to stay late necessarily. Or if I do, it kind of compensates for the time that you travel. But, like, there's a lot of benefits to working from home. But you kind of don't get to see people, and you really can't ever get away from it. So, I don't know. Hopefully everything's okay, but at the moment, I'm drinking whiskey with all of you. So, I'm in software. So, I am a director of software development. So. Yeah, this one's really good, too. I like this one. This one's going to be number 2 for me, I think, so far. But I've totally woken up worried that I might get an email and had to check my phone. Yeah, I totally hear you, DH. Especially if you have a work phone. Like, I have a work phone, and I'm expected to answer it. Now, I'm on vacation, and I delegated people on my behalf that, a couple of people that report to me, and they're responsible now. But I'm in that position because I don't stop worrying about it, Like, I'm in this position because even though I'm on vacation, I'm still going to be checking my email religiously, and I'm still going to be responding to stuff. I don't want to talk too much about this, but yeah. Anyway, this is very good. Yeah, introversion. I mean, I think a lot of us probably are introverts, Steve. You would think that I wouldn't be, being guy on camera, drinking in front of however many people, but most of the time I really am. I'm definitely guy who has to try not to be. Yep, I hear you, Ron. So Shi Flung Dong, hey, I'm in software. I've not had enough to drink, but there's a dirty joke in there somewhere. yeah, for sure. So Shi Flung Dong, what are you drinking? One of my favorite people. All right, so I like this one a lot. I'm gonna actually. Right now, these two are number 1 and number 2. But these two I need to make a decision among. So I'm definitely going to go back to these. Well, thank you, Christopher. Appreciate that. This one still tastes smoky. I mean, soapy. I wish I knew which one this was. What I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. When I've made a decision about where I think this should be, and I've revealed the answers, I'm going to get another Glencairn, which... Of course, I don't have one within reach. And I'm going to pour whatever this was into a new Glencairn and see if it's the whiskey or if it's just somehow there was some soap in the glass. Exhibitionist introvert. I like that. I don't mind being seen, just don't need to be in close contact with people all the time. Yeah, I would like that. I think I like that. When I go places, I probably... You guys might be able to relate to this. So obviously the Whiskey Channel is like all encompassing, right? So whenever I go places, people always think it's a cool thing that I've got the channel and that I have this knowledge that they usually don't. And so we talk about that. But that makes me kind of one-dimensional. Not Now, obviously, work is work, but people don't like to talk about work. So, what's your hobby? Oh, I run a YouTube channel. Oh, tell me about that. And then I talk. Usually it can be interesting enough. But then once that's over, it's like, well, what else do I do? I guess I have kids, So, like, I don't know. Maybe I need some new hobbies. Used to make whiskey sauce for some bread pudding. I'm just killing the bottle off. For Jameson. Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting, Shifeng Dung. That's a good idea. I have this recipe for bourbon maple syrup that I actually was planning on filming today, but I ran out of time. And I wrote it in the winter of 2018. I wrote the episode, and I just have never filmed it because I wanna do it when it's cold out, because pancakes and like maybe I'll do it in the fall. It just feels right to do maple syrup in fall time. So I don't know. Anyway, this one's probably my least favorite at the moment, but I really, really think it's the soapy flavor that's throwing me off. Jason, send me an email, Jason. I might be able to, depending on where you are, I might be able to hook you up with something. But send me an email, thewhiskeydick@gmail.com. I know that like my current team I'm not hiring for, but depending on your skills, oh yeah, and send a resume as well. If you have one. If not, just tell me what you're good at. Yeah. This one's tastes a little bit more like it's got some rye in it. And I'm going to guess that this might be the Tawakero, only because it's got the 4 different grains going on. And I know I'm not guessing. I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm going to guess this is the Tawakero. And I don't dislike it, but this one's going to be my third choice here. So I know that it's pretty early on, but I think I want to reveal these. And I think what I'm going to do for the other half hour is maybe pull another couple bottles and just do some sort of side-by-side or something like that. So, ever take a Myers-Briggs test? Yes, I have, but I totally don't remember what my letters were. Do you cook more now than your home? More? Yeah. I mean, I've always liked cooking anyway. You wouldn't believe it, but my ability to smell stuff has always come in handy with cooking. Even long before I had any sort of passion for whiskey, I was guy at the grocery store that would, like I would smell stuff, but I would buy stuff that I would smell. But it was more just, like I was interested in the herbs and the different fruits, and I'm like, oh, what does a star fruit smell like? All right, cool. I'll throw that in the carriage and I'll eat that. But I've always found myself really like I could smell a thing and then I could imagine how it would fit into some sort of meal. Being a chef was definitely a calling for me, and I thought about that, but there's too many horror stories about what it is to be a chef, especially like a lot of where you have to come up through, like maybe you work at a Bertucci's or a 99 or an Applebee's or something like that. And those are fine. Like if you're watching this and that's where you work, good for you. And my guess is that you know exactly what I'm talking about, because I've got friends who work in those kind of industries. And it was a thing that I thought would be a better hobby than a job. And it's good because I like what I do with the software. Now, my other choice of job would have been a marine biologist. And I realized that the only reason I even wanted to do that, other than just a general interest in fish and aquatic life, was that I just loved to scuba dive. So if I wasn't just scuba diving all the time, I probably wouldn't have been very content with that job choice. So instead, I just became a software engineer, where it was good enough that I would be able to take time. I could cook every night if I wanted to, and I could dive as a hobby, which is exactly what I ended up doing. So anyway, all right, let's figure this out. So my first, there. All right, let's see what we've got. So my favorite was, and because I have these little glass lids on here, I'm just going to turn that upside down. No big deal. Oh, it's a little drippy. Of course, I go to show that off. All right, so anyway, my favorite was D, which is Courage and Conviction. Now that's interesting. I did like this one when I reviewed it on the channel for sure, but I was not expecting this to be my favorite. So very interesting. I liked this one a lot. I felt it had the most body to it, the most interesting flavor, and I thought it was kind of the most well-defined. It almost like it knew what it wanted to be, and it wasn't dull in any aspect. So cool. I'm pretty happy with that choice, actually. All right, let's see. B is my second choice. B is Iron Root. Okay, phew. Robert's not going to kill me. So, so now that's interesting though, because B was not the one that tasted soapy, and somebody did say that Iron Root could have a soapy taste to it. So I'm probably going to pour another pull of whatever that was. But Iron Root Harbinger is great. I mean, I've spoken highly about Iron Root for years, and you guys don't need to hear me gush about them too much more. But very cool. So Iron Root was choice number 2. Now choice number 3 is A. What do we got? A was the Tawakero, which is exactly what I guessed it was. So that's very cool. I love when that happens. It makes me feel like I know what the hell I'm talking about, which, nope. All right. And lastly, I guess this would be the Wiggly Bridge. Now that's interesting because I haven't had the Wiggly Bridge in quite a while. I'm going to go grab another Glencairn real quick because like I said, want to make sure it's not just the glass. All right. So, nice clean glass, and let's pour some Wiggly Bridge. If I wasn't an engineer, I'd probably be a mechanic, as I love cars. Yeah, you know what, Jason? I feel like the two are similar enough. You know, it at the root of it, it's just an interest in seeing how things work and working with machines and or technology. But I like it. The dog could drop a bomb 2 rooms away and I'll know it, but I can't pick up the cherry notes in a dram. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. Cooking with Old Granddad, a barbecue pit that my grandfather built 66 years ago. Neat. Old factory senses seem only to pick up the grossest of smells. Let's see. Iron Root's good stuff. That's sad that Wiggly Bridge is the last. I've been waiting to get my hands on it and try some. Well, so keep in mind, this smell right here will tell me a lot. Hold on. I think it's the glass. That sucks. Man, that sucks. You know, I stopped putting these things through the dishwasher forever ago, and I'm not complaining because, you know, whatever, but I wonder if my wife might have put some of them through the dishwasher. I learned my lesson with that. So, oh well. Anyway. That being said, I think this would still have been my fourth choice on the nose, but let's try a taste here. Nah, it's still number 4. Now here's the deal. This Wiggly Bridge that I have, it's half open, and I bought it at least 2 years ago. So it's very possible that it doesn't taste the way it's supposed to do. But either way, you know, it is what it is. This is the experiment that I ran. So, favorite is Courage and Conviction, followed by Iron Root, and then Tawakero, and then Wiggly Bridge, in kind of a distant fourth. Let me think. Is it the soap? Is it the whiskey? The world may never know. Oh no, so Whiskey Central. I will never let something like that sit. All right, so I'm going to go pull 2 more bottles. You know what? Actually, I'm going to let you guys choose. So if you're watching this live chat, there's a very good chance that you've been watching my channel for quite a while. I have most of the bottles that I've reviewed. If there's, just for the heck of it, if there are any 2 bottles that you'd like me to kind of put up against each other, just throw them in the chat. I think this will be an interesting experiment. Could be any type. Could be Irish, could be, you know, bourbon, could be well, I only have 1 or 2 Japanese. Could be really anything. And I'm going to sit here and drink my Courage and Conviction because it's delicious. Made a chocolate bourbon walnut pie over the holiday. Jeez, that's a lot. With 1792 small batch, it was good, but too much going on. Need to be either bourbon or chocolate, not both. Now that's interesting. Actually, that could be an interesting one. I have those 3 1792s, and I know that I had them all 3 on an episode before as well as a live stream, but I don't think that I ever did them as, I don't think that I ever did them as a blind tasting. Red Label versus Proper 12. Now, see, that's the episode that I need to film, but I actually don't have either one of those bottles anymore. Do you have Red Breast? I do have Red Breast. I have both the 12, the cast strength, and that's it. I have the 12 and the cast strength. Yellow Spot versus Yama 12. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I like it. That's the first one I saw. Rostislav traps. I have Yellow Spot, and I don't have a Yama 12, but I do have a Yamazaki distillery exclusive kind of something that somebody brought back from the distillery. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to put all these to the side. Thwack. Give me 2 seconds. So I got 2, and I need 2 glasses. My wife's gonna see the sink full of glasses and she'll be like, "Oh boy, you had a good night, huh?" Yes, I did. All right, so I believe it was Yellow Spot versus Yama 12. Okay, yeah, perfect. So Yellow Spot 12. Here we go. So here's the thing. These are probably going to be vastly different colors to the point where it's going to be too difficult for me to... Yeah, they're very different colors. Too difficult for me to be able to not see the difference in the color. So what I'm going to do is after I pour these, I'm going to just kind of shuffle them around a little bit. And I'm just straight up going to close my eyes because blind tasting. Now, I don't have any sort of headband or anything, so you'll just have to trust me that I'm not peeking. And I'll drink a little bit of water first. I'll put the water right there so I can find that and pop. Yeah, the red label versus proper 12, that needs to happen. I need to do that. I might what's the word? Do that faster. Expedite that episode because I just should. Now, speaking of which, holy crap, my last episode on the Amaret, that thing, holy crap, it's like 30K views at the moment. It's probably much more than that, actually. I haven't looked since this morning. But it was about 30K this morning. I need a bird box blindfold. Yes, I do. Oh, so Whiskey Central, you're gonna like the yellow. You're probably gonna like the green. I mean, I can't tell you if you like the red. I wasn't as big of a fan of the red. Seems to be a bit of a... Steve, you have been wanting to send me a bottle of red for so long. Yeah. All right. Maybe I'll go out tomorrow. Maybe I'll go pick up a couple bottles. It's just, man, actually that could actually work out really well. Because I would feel embarrassed to walk out of a liquor store with a bottle of red and a bottle of proper 12, but not if I'm wearing a mask. Nobody can see who I am. So, all right. So this one is the Yamazaki and this one's the yellow. So let me just kind of I realize that I'm basically just fooling myself at this point, but the good news is at this point I actually don't know which one is which. Oh, that's super loud, I'm sure, for your microphone. I'm sorry. But at this point I'm just going to keep going 3 more times, I think. All right, so I have no idea which one is which, I promise. So let's go ahead and just start on my left. And I'm not... I wonder if this is going to be too easy because I probably know what they taste like. But whatever, let's see. Okay. Tastes good. Tastes really good. Let's just go ahead and try this. Yeah, I think that this is probably a flawed experiment because I think I know which one that was. But I like the idea. I need like a spinning wheel-o whiskey where I can just kind of pick from my current collection at random. That'd be kind of fun. All right. Okay. Well, I know which one I like more, at least on first impressions. But I'm going to do one more taste of each, just to be thorough. All right. I sure hope you're all saying terrible things about me while I can't see you. That's actually a little harder to decide. I also really don't care for one over the other, so this will be a fun experiment for me, just to see which one I like. I think this one right here tastes like it has a little bit more body than this one, but I don't know. The flavor notes on both of them are pretty good. I need some like crackers or something down here. I think I like this one more. I think this is going to be my vote. So let's see, which one's this? Yep, I think. Oh shoot, I should have put like a thing on them. Yeah, this one's the yellow. So cool. I like the yellow spot more than Yamazaki. I'd say I'm a little surprised, but I'm not surprised like that. I guessed. Sorry. When I tasted them, I think I thought I knew which one was which, but I'm a little surprised that I liked the yellow spot over the Yamazaki, but kind of not really. I don't believe this is a Yamazaki 12. I think this is just a Yamazaki something or other 40%. And this one is yellow spot. I mean, it's something that I know I like. So yeah, interesting. I picked the Irish whiskey over the Japanese. So cool. Just found an unopened bottle of American Prairie in the whiskey closet. Bonus. Yeah, man. Bonus. 30K views on Emerald. Yeah. No, it wasn't even the fusion. It was just the regular single malt. Now, tomorrow's episode, well, the patrons will see tomorrow's episode on the cask strength, and then Sunday will be the regular episode. But the Emerald cask strength, I ended up doing kind of a versus. It's not a formal versus episode, but I did, a little comparison, and what do you call it? The results will surprise you. So ambiguous. Anyway, cool. So, all right, send me something else. What else do you guys want me to pour? I've got plenty more Glencairns, and at the end, we got about 15 minutes left. Towards the end, I'll probably just throw them all in a glass and drink them up. Not the whole thing though. That will cause puking. Yeah, man, that's pretty good. I'm interested. This is, what sucks? Like this Yamazaki, this came all the way back from Japan, but from a friend of mine, and it kind of stinks because when I saw this, first off, I had no idea what it said because it's in Japanese, right? It's whatever their letters are called. I totally forget what they're called, but whatever. So when I saw this, I didn't recognize what it was. I used that app on Google to translate it, and I saw Yamazaki, and I was just like, oh my god, is it like Yamazaki 18? Is it just like Yamazaki single barrel something or other craziness? And unfortunately, it's just kind of Yamazaki. I suspect if that was Yamazaki 12 in that bottle, I probably would have picked that. But let's see. What's your oldest 2 to 3 bottles and favorite younger whiskeys? Sorry, I was just laughing at just every time I see somebody put knob. I'm just such a child. My most expensive bottle versus my cheapest. Okay, I like that Whiskey Central. That's going to take me a minute to find. But why do I like cheap stuff more than expensive stuff? Love Evan Williams White Label. Don't like Four Roses Single Barrel. There's a heavy amount of ABV difference between the two of those, and that might have something to do with it. It could also just be, Daniel, I mean, I don't want to say everybody's in this camp, but there is some time that needs to go into this hobby before you really start to appreciate other stuff. Like the Ugadale back there, right there. I love that one, and there's a lot of people that wouldn't, and that took some time. I think if I would have drank some Ugadale as my first or second whiskey, I'd probably be like, what the hell are these people doing? But who knows? It's tough. Booker's versus Knob Creek 120 proof. Now I don't have the Knob Creek 120. All right, so I like the idea of my cheapest versus my most expensive bottle, but I have to think of what my most expensive bottle is. So give me 2 minutes, and I'm gonna also pick up. I'm just seeing if there were any. What's your oldest 2 to 3 bottles and favorite younger whiskeys? All right, so my oldest 2 to 3 bottles. Now, do you mean oldest as in As in, how many have I had in my cabinet for the longest, or what? All right, so my most expensive whiskey is probably, I want to say it's the Anak 18 at the moment. I hope you guys can still hear me. So I've got the Anak 18. Now my cheapest whiskey is probably my Jameson. Maybe I have a bottle of Jack, but that probably wouldn't be the cheapest that I have. All right, so I'm actually gonna mix it up a little bit here. I think this is my. All right, so I have a cool idea. You guys will like this. I'm actually gonna keep them off screen for just a sec. All right, so what I did instead of I did actually pick. I think I picked my most expensive bottle, which admittedly is not that expensive, only $130, which is the Anak 18. And I'm actually starting to look. You guys remember that stream I did with Nick Taylor, right? Look how little of this bottle I have left. This is a freaking good bottle of whiskey. Holy crap, I love it. You guys should pick one up. So, the Anak 18. Now, I kind of took this a little different. Instead of doing my most expensive and my cheapest, I did what I think is actually probably my oldest whiskey, which again, I'm almost like embarrassed that an 18 is my oldest, but whatever, who cares, versus my youngest whiskey, which is the PBR. 5-second aged. Oh, okay, Steve. Yeah, I wasn't confident if you guys could actually hear me or not. I didn't have the mic facing the right way. But it's fine. I didn't say anything all that interesting. So I'm going to try some Anak versus the 5-second aged. So why not? Pop. Gonna pour that right in there. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Anybody else remember Homestar Runner and Strong Bad? That's looking pretty good. Coming out of the back of his neck there. All right, so the Anak 18. Ah, it smells so good. It's so wonderful. I wonder which one's going to work. Which one's going to win? Ugadale is my Isla gateway drug. Didn't care for peat much until then. I could see Ugadale being that. I would almost be surprised if anybody tried the Ano and decided that they liked peat. Only because it's just kind of eh. You've got a good mic. We could hear you all the way through. All right, thanks, Richie. Appreciate it. Yeah, Steve's just being a pain in the ass. Tractor! Yeah. Speaking of old references, did anybody else ever remember Charlie the Unicorn? A brand new episode of that just came out 3 days ago, which I watched last night, actually. I think I fell asleep during it, but I don't know. The newest two things that they made are kind of just not great, but it's Charlie, so good stuff. But all right, so loving that. Why am I doing this? What am I doing? Woo! Yuck. Oh, smells like the bottom of a beer can. I kind of forgot what this smelled like. I remember not disliking it when I reviewed it, though. Like, I don't think I gave it a recommendation other than because it was kind of funny. 52% corn, 27% malted barley, 17% wheat, 4% rye, 40% alcohol. Hey, Sean Rose. Nice to see you. Talisker Storm is a good intro. Oh, so good. And then the Anak is, what is this, like 40-something percent? 46%. And then, obviously, malted barley. All right. This isn't even a competition, but whatever. It's like, damn, that's good. Oh, it's so good. if you guys haven't had the Anak 18, just do it. That's something I need to do on this channel a little bit more, only because I think it would just make me happy. Is just damn good whiskeys. You know, like I review a lot of half decent whiskeys because they're inexpensive and in general they get more views and people like them. You know, it's good to be able to want to go to the store and spend less than $50 on a bottle of alcohol and have a better idea of what to buy. But I've been doing that for like 5.5 years. I think it's about time I start picking up some 18-year-old scotches. Isn't a no mostly cigarette ash? Now, which Ardbegs do I have? I think I only have the Ano and the Ugadale. The Oogie, if you will. So. I don't remember Ano tasting like cigarette ash. I kind of just remember it not being all that peaty. Kind of being let down by it, honestly. And it was where I stopped having such a love affair with Ardbeg, to the point where I didn't even buy the drum or the grooves. $100 and up, blind flights. We will all watch. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I could do that. Yeah, I don't know. I need what are they called? The Bourbon Junkies. I need Bourbon Junkies Patreon money to pull that one off. Although I think I could probably make it work. I could probably pick up like 5 or 6 bottles like that. I don't know. It's tough. I'm not sure what I would buy, actually. What would you guys buy? Like if I gave you $100, or let's say $150. If I gave you $150, what would you go to the store and pick up? Oh, boy. Maybe they should have gone for 10 seconds. I don't know what I was thinking when I first reviewed this. I got to go back and rewatch my review. I hope I didn't give this like a glowing review. I can't imagine I did. I know my taste has changed a bit, but there's no way that I was like all about this. If I remember correctly, I remember tasting it and just kind of being like, oh, it's not as terrible as I thought. But I'm really hoping I didn't say like, this is a buy it. I might have said it was a buy it just for the heck of it, but I don't know. I hope I didn't. Oh, Springbank 15. Yeah. I want to get that Pabst and throw it in a 3-gallonish barrel for a month or two. Yeah, you know, I could throw it in this guy. Actually, that could be kind of fun. Let's throw it in here and see what comes of it. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. I ended up putting Booker's in here, and the Booker's just disappeared. It just completely evaporated. I definitely didn't do something right. But I get messages on that video that I did quite often. People wondering how it went. And I always have to tell them, oh, it just kind of disappeared. Another Glendronach 18, Springbank 15, Redbreast 12. Now the Redbreast 12 around me is only like $70, maybe $65. It's not really that expensive. Never had Johnny Walker Green Label. Am I missing out? Harley, you probably could buy it. I would. It used to be a lot better, and that's where I'm getting hesitant here. If I were you, I would try to pick up the silver or platinum, whatever they call it now, the 18. That one's a lot better, and I think it's not completely way more. I want to say the green is somewhere in the 65 range, and the platinum's like 85. So I mean, $20 is a difference, but you're getting a lot better whiskey for that. How long ago did you put the Bookers in there? Well, I mean, it disappeared in like 3 months, so it was a long time ago that I filmed that episode, though. But I think I should try that again, and I think that would actually be the problem is like I'd be kind of putting this stuff in it, which isn't great, you know? Like, I don't know. I wonder if it would be any good. I guess that would be a decent experiment. So, speaking of experiments, I'm about a week into a certain experiment of a thing I'm doing that I'll be filming in about a month or so. And that'll be cool. I think it'll be an interesting idea or an interesting thing. This is just, I love that 18. I'm going to just, well, I guess I'm not saving anything because I'm going to combine them all. I must be getting pretty close to time here. Oh, geez. All right, so it's 9:57. So here's the deal. I'm going to mix all of these together because I want to. I'm going to leave this out because this was just going to ruin everything. It would almost be like taking a whole bunch of scotch and then, or, you know, like random Speyside and then throwing a peated whiskey in there. It's just going to taste like the peated whiskey. All right, so let's see what we have here. A whole bunch. I'm going to leave out the one that tasted like soap. 2, 4, 6, 7 different whiskeys. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Oh, it's getting close. 6. 7. Nope, it's not gonna make it. Oh, it's so full. Oh, it's so full. You guys can see how full that is against my head there. You know, you guys might make fun of me for the no hair, but this actually makes a really good backdrop if I'm trying to show detail of stuff. Oh boy, this is gonna taste beautiful, isn't it? I bet it's gonna taste good. Yeah, this is a for science for sure. This is above for science. This is for sanity. All right, so cheers, guys. Thanks for joining me here on this episode of the Whiskey Dictionary, I guess. Anybody else feeling some trepidation? This guy. All right. Okay. Wow, that's really good. That could come right out of a bottle. Holy crap. It tastes like a very mild bourbon with a little bit of rye and some pear. That's freaking great. I'm shocked. Oh boy, call that relief. Wow, that's really not bad. Wow. Wow, I like it. I like that. If I had any idea what I just mixed. But anyway, all right, cool. Thank you guys all for joining me here at the Whiskey Dictionary. Steve, I'm going to go change the Patreon screen right this second. So I hope you all have a great rest of your night, and cheers.